quivers. Okay?
Okay, you're good.
Thank you, I'm just eating some jelly beans right now.
We're all stuffing our faces.
Quivers. Quiver that's used in combat archery is nothing like the quiver that you use in target archery. First of all, it's way bigger and it's always slung over your back, okay? So that it hangs down. You never have a back quiver for combat archery. Now, mine is kind of stylized and it works extremely well. This is diamond plate aluminum, all right? Very useful for this kind of a thing. You want to have something quite rigid at the bottom. Leather does not work, all right? If you put leather at the bottom of this thing, it's going to fold up and it's going to tangle your arrows. One of the rules of engagement in combat archery is if that arrow hits the ground, it is considered shot. So, if this thing starts tangling up your arrows and you're in the middle of a fight and you grab one arrow and 5 arrows come out and hit the ground, you just lost 6 arrows. 1 in your hand and 5 on the ground. Okay? So you don't want these arrows coming out. All right? So you want this thing to be quite large. Notice that I've got this curve that I've cut into here. That curve is designed to lay up against my leg. All right? That way, if you have it the other way, what will happen is if you don't have armor on that leg, and a lot of archers do not have heavy armor on their legs, this thing is bouncing around here and starts folding around and getting in your way. All right? It is hard enough to engage in heavy armor as it is. All right? You want to have every advantage you can. This thing hangs over. It's actually up against my gorget. It's up against my gorget, all right? So it's pushing up against the gorget, and that way it's not cutting my neck as I'm working my way through here. I've got this thing nice and down in here. This is almost as long as an arrow. Do not make it too short, okay? Otherwise, they will fall out, all right? So, you want it to be, it's about 12 to 14 inches across from here, and it's got a nice big neck on it, all right? Notice that I've got this thing riveted on. It is not sewn on all over the place, all right? There are seams on here that are sewn, but where the main stress points are, it's riveted, okay? Because this thing is going to be in a battle, and that means you are going to be tangled up inside of a bunch of people out there. Now, loading your quiver matters. I always load mine 5 arrows at a time. Don't just grab your bunch of arrows. I mean, and this will happen. What will happen is I will get out there, I'll have my armor, get everything set, and your arrows laying on the ground. Okay, I'm going to check them one last time to make sure everything is safe, they're all good. Now I'm going to load my quiver. Doug, you've seen me do this 100 times, all right? I will lay the arrows out 5 at a time. Make sure that they are not tangled. And then put them in. Very carefully. And then put the next 5 in. And then the next 5 in. And when I'm reaching like this and grabbing like that. All right? If you reach in under the bottom, you can start grabbing arrows out. It is not uncommon for me, when I hit the battlefield, I'm going to have 3 dozen arrows inside of this quiver. They will tangle up. So you have to load them in one way and unload them in another. All right? In exactly the opposite. First in, last out. Okay? So you want to be doing that when you're putting these in. And notice how deep this is. All right? A lot of people, they will use some sort of a bag that cinches closed or won't stay open for them, okay? Causes the arrows to tangle, they can't get the arrows out, they can't engage, all right? Or they will make the bag too short, okay? And the arrows fall out onto the ground. Or they're in some sort of a bloody hurry, all right? And they just chuck all of the arrows inside of there and go out there and end up pulling 5 arrows out when they pull 1, okay? So that's what you want to have for your quiver. Any questions on this? All right? Okay, now, the question was asked about other kinds of weapons. Now, these terms are old terms and are not used as much anymore. In the days of yore, okay, there were what were called light archers. All right? And a light archer did not have to wear all of the heavy armor that everybody else had to wear. Okay? And then you had yeoman archers. Yeoman archers could switch over into other kinds of modes of battle. All right? But they had to have the full heavy armor. And the way that that worked was, as I recall, the helmet had to have a T on it that showed that they were just light archers. Okay? That does not exist any longer. That rule does not exist. It has not existed for over 10 years. All right? All archers must meet armor specifications of every other fighter on the field. Okay? So, there's no such thing as a light archer. So does that mean that any archer can go ahead and switch back and forth and go into other kinds of weapons? Number one, you got to be authorized in another weapon. All right? If this is the only weapon that you are authorized in, then no, you may not switch over. All right? But if you are authorized, and I am authorized in sword and shield, I can switch over. There are very specific rules of engagement in doing so. All right? Number one, you do not have to dispose of your arrows. They can stay on your body. All right? Good. Number two, you do have to safely dispose of your bow. All right? You cannot just take that bow, drop it onto the ground, grab your sword and board, and go fighting around and then go back again. You have got to go to a safe spot. Now, when I'm actually marshaling on the field, what that means is you have to go into a non-engagement area. In other words, you have to go either back to the res point, or if it is closer, you can go to the actual edge of the boundary and put the bow down outside of the battle. Okay? One time I had to jump on Ibrahim. Yes, Duke Ibrahim, for pulling this maneuver. We were at an uprising. He's up on the wall. He puts his bow down, grabs a spear, stab, stab, stab. No. Totally against the rules. You cannot do that. All right? You must dispose of your bow. As soon as you've disposed of your bow, you can go ahead and grab your sword and board. Now, the interesting thing about it is...
Question.
Yes.
If, say, like Bella and I are fighting together,
Yes.
I get killed, Bella wants to switch, can she hand her bow to me and I take it?
Yes.
Okay.
You can absolutely do that. Okay? Another person can go ahead and take your bow. It has to be safely disposed of. Giving it to another person, giving it to a scout, is perfectly legitimate.
Okay.
Yes.
What if it's like a crossbow and you've got a strap on it? Could you
No.
sling it on your back?
You must dispose of the bow. It has to be off your body and elsewhere. Okay? Just like you can't have that shield on your back. It doesn't count. Remember, in the SCA, shields have to be active shields. Okay? You cannot put that shield on your back and consider it armor until they turn around, hey, you shot me a shield. No. It has to be an active shield, which means it has to be attached to your arm. Okay? If you want to carry that shield around with you, you may. You're going to make a horrible discovery very soon as a combat archer. Okay? You put 36 rounds of ammunition on your body, and all that armor, and you got that bow, and you are going to weigh a lot. Okay? You don't want that shield attached to you. You don't want that sword attached to you. Now, what I normally do is I will actually bring the sword and board part of the way up to the battle. It's perfectly legitimate to leave that on the battlefield. You can't do that with a bow, but you can do that with your sword and bow, sword and shield. All right? So what I'll do is I'm going at it. It's a res battle. I'm starting to run out of arrows. I don't want to lose all my arrows before the end of the res battle. Okay? Off to the side I go. Drop off the bow. Go back. Pick up my sword and board and re-engage. I am at a distinctive advantage. And this is something you're going to have to deal with if you can't do what I do. I shoot right-handed, but I fight left-handed. Now, you would think, who cares? What's the big deal? Here's the deal. When I'm shooting, I'm permitted to wear demi-gauntlets. All right? You can't grab onto these things if you've got full gauntlets on your hands. All right? So I'm out there with demi-gauntlets, and I'm shooting, okay? And life is good, all right? Then I go over, I grab my sword and board, I got my shield here, and it's got a nice basket on it that's protecting this hand. I can still wear the demi-gauntlet. And I've got a basket on my sword, and it's got a demi-gauntlet. Okay, and it's got that basket, and I'm protected. But wait a minute, what if it's the other way around? All right? And suddenly, your demi is here, but this hand is exposed. You've got to switch gauntlets. It's not going to work. That's going to be a problem. All right?
On the heavy field.
On the heavy field.
Don't
Okay?
wear gauntlets on the
For
light
you
field.
guys who are out there on Rapier, you couldn't give a rat's. Just wear gloves and you're happy. Okay? For me, I don't have to switch my gauntlets out. All right? Now, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to pick up a spear. There's no way I'm ever going to be able to pick up a greatsword. All right? Because I've got to have full gauntlets on when I grab that weapon. All right? But because I switch back and forth, and I'm left-handed in one sense and right-handed in the other, I'm good. Yes?
Could you have a shield that was like altered so you didn't have to hold it with your hand and just have it on your hand to deflect arrows? Have it on your arm?
It's got to be attached to your hand. That is the rule.
Where is that?
Yep. It has to be an active shield. They do that to prevent just that from happening. They set that rule. All right?
They started having shield men that were
Yeah.
wearing arm shields
I mean,
with big
the-
long pikes.
The rules regarding shields are kind of flaky, and they have nothing to do with real combat. I mean, you guys have noticed with circular shields, you use a circular shield. It's got a boss in the middle, right? What's the boss used for?
Punching.
Yeah. Are you allowed?
No.
No.
Let's be clear here. You are allowed to make contact with their sword or their shield, and you can use the boss for that.
But in actual battle,
Oh yeah.
oh, you smear somebody with that thing. Okay? That's a weapon. All right? No. So remember, SCA combat ain't real combat. All right? So that's how you deal with that. Now, there are still some of us who are old and gray-haired who still call ourselves yeoman archers. And all that really means is that I am authorized to and will change weapons on the field. Okay? I'm telling you right now, 9 times out of 10, it ain't worth it. Okay? If you are a combat archer, stay with your bow. Use it. All right? I mean, to give you an idea, and admit it, I'm a really good shot. I will normally, on a bad day, get a 60% kill rate. On a good day, I will get a 90% kill rate. Okay? Then there was Estrella, when I just came off the tournament field, it was totally warmed up, and I had a 96% kill rate. Now you have to think about that for a second. I got 36 rounds. I killed 34 men. Okay? The best Duke out there isn't killing 34 men.
I did not kill 34 men my entire war.
That's right. But I can do
Probably
that
the
in
other
a single
ones.
battle. All right? Stick with your bow. When is the only time you don't want to stick with your bow? Res battles. That's when it becomes important.
Because you
this is
can't
a matter
glean.
of tactics. One of the things that happens in resurrection battles when you have combat archery is that they will get out there and the dummies run out of ammo.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever has ammo at the end is the hero.
That's the one who wins.
That's the way that works, okay? So what you do is you make sure that you have 6, 7, 8 rounds left in your bag, all right? That's when there's nothing left in the rear. That's all you got left. You're getting close to the end there, or you're in the middle of the battle, switch out. Get onto the melee line. So you get beat up a little bit. Who cares? You go back, you res, you come back. You go back, you res. Then you get the final hold, okay, before the end of the battle, and they say, okay, no more resurrections. Oh, where's my bow? And then you win the battle. That's about the only time that I will actually switch back and forth. It's the only time that it's really worth it. Okay? So that's something to be thinking about when you're if you're going to be a yeoman archer.
So going back to authorizations, how are we going to do authorizations for light fighters?
It's the same
In our
exact
kingdom.
thing.
Okay,
It really
so
is.
do we come to you? Do we have to go to one of our marshals? Because currently none of our marshals are.
That is true. And what is
Archery authorized.
necessary is that they will need to be trained. We currently have 3 active combat archery marshals in the kingdom. Me, Sir Robert, okay,
Okay,
and
as in
Sir
dispenser?
Bartholomew.
Robert Dispenser?
Dispenser.
Okay.
Okay? Those are the 3 active combat archery marshals.
Are you willing to do workshops to get
Sure,
people
absolutely.
win?
7.
She's trying to pin shit down pretty tight here, ain't she?
Some of us want to actually start doing this.
I
So
understand that.
today is the 7th. You said 7. So can we start today?
Okay, 7 December. Smart
That's too
aleck.
late.
I will answer your question. You just may not like it.
And I will keep asking until I get an answer I like.
Hey, look, I got this thing together. All right? Okay. Let's talk a little bit about conventions of combat. All right? Combat archers are not well loved.
No, really?
They were not loved back in the days of yore during the 100 Years' War. Okay? Even then, the men-at-arms, the squires, and the knights all considered combat archers to be non-chivalrous dickheads who sat in the back, didn't risk anything, and just killed and killed and killed. Unless, of course, the archers were on their side.
Yeah, they love the
And then
French
it's
love the crossbow.
So combat archery has never been greatly loved, and it is certainly not greatly loved in the society. All right? One of the reasons is that a lot of the combat archers, and I'm going to put a lot of the onus on the combat archers, they do not properly engage. Okay? So let's talk a little bit about this. This has nothing to do with authorization. This has nothing to do with the rules of combat. This has to do with courtesy, chivalry, and actually having a good time while you're out there. Okay? So, number 1. One of the things that people just love to do is get out there and go hat hunting. And what that basically means is you want to get out there and go kill a knight, or kill a duke, or kill a count. All right? Knock it off. Knock it off. Don't do that. All right? My basic rule when I'm out there, and these are actually Bart's rules. He's the one that kind of codified them, and I agree with him totally. If you have somebody out there who is not actually engaged in the fight and is instead commanding troops, don't shoot them. Now, you are going to be ordered to shoot them. Your own commander is going to say, shoot that guy who's in command there. Don't. Disobey the order. You know what happens if you disobey the order in the SCA? Nothing! This is not the military. Okay? And then you take that knight, whoever was in command, you pull him aside and you explain to him why you don't shoot commanding officers. Now then, if that commander grabs onto a spear and he goes into the battle,
Fair game.
he's a target. I'm going to kill him. But don't just go after belts. Don't just go after hats. When a king is in the rear and he's got his guard back there, I don't care if I've got the cleanest shot in the world, I will not shoot him. I'll shoot his guard, but I will not shoot him. If a commander is out there, okay, and he is commanding troops, let him command. One of the really great things about combat archery is it actually gives an opportunity for knights and squires to command troops in this very fluid, very flexible environment. So what do? You shoot the commander. It's crap. All right? That's number 1. Number 2, this is a game, guys. We're supposed to be having some fun. All right? And any combat archer can get out there, and you've got, think about this for a second. You've got a knight who has fought for years and years and years. Okay? He has developed his skills. He has spent the money to get out there and command troops and be part of this game, and some dickhead shoots him within 5 seconds of the battle beginning. You are punishing him for being excellent. That's crap. Don't do it. It's wrong. Okay? So just leave it alone. Don't do that. Okay. Another onus that is on you. I'm going to tell you this right now, okay? As an experienced combat archer, the first thing that we experienced combat archers do is we check you guys out. We're going to check out the guys on our side, and we're going to check the guys out on the opposite side. And we're going to see who the duffers are. The guys who couldn't hit a bull in the ass with a banjo. We don't care about you. You're useless. All right? We will not waste a round on you. All you're doing is just popping around out there. You go ahead. All right? We are going to spot the ones who can shoot, and they're the ones we're going to engage. All right? So, if you want to be taken seriously, if you want to be a part of the battlefield, all right, learn how to shoot. Okay? The best combat archers in the world are good target archers. They don't have to be great. Not by any means. If you are at ranger or near ranger level, in other words, if you're getting between 50 and 60 points on a royal round, you are going to murder people out on that battlefield. Okay? The reason's really very simple. Okay? If you're a ranger, you can generally hit a target about that big around from 60 feet away. You're hitting a target that big and that high from 20 feet away. That's the normal engagement range. Yes?
I know that it is difficult to field arrows that hit me in armor unless they hit me in the head.
I'll talk about that in a second. I will talk about that in a second. Okay? That's another thing. I'm just talking about the combat archer, not the heavy fighter. Okay? I'll get there. I'll get there. Okay? Let me just finish this thought about this. The point here is you need to be able to shoot your bow. One of the reasons why crossbows were so common in the 100 Years' War, especially on the Norman side, on the French side, and why they are still common here, is because people don't want to learn how to shoot a bow. It does not take nearly as much training to learn how to use a crossbow. All right? I'm going to tell you right now, for those of you that are interested, you may not, under any circumstances whatsoever in this kingdom, use a crossbow in rapier combat.
Nope.
That is against the rules. All right? The end. That has been, I went back and forth with the Earl Marshal on this. We talked about this. That is a final rule. I'm not sure if it was absolutely necessary, but I don't care. The Earl Marshal made the call, and I agree with it. We're done with it. No crossbows on the rapier field. Only 30-pound or less bows. That's it. Mm-hmm. The amount of force that you're getting out of that crossbow is high enough that it can actually cave in a mask. Okay? And do you some sort of damage. All right? Technically, it shouldn't do that, but it could. And because of that, it has been declared no way. All right? Crossbows only on the heavy field. All right? The reason why people use crossbows is because they don't want to practice and they don't want to learn. All right? The fact of the matter is, you can feel a crossbow bolt more. Okay? That is absolutely true. All right? But it is also true that a decent archer can shoot 3 rounds with a hand bow for every 2 with a crossbow. And what's more is I don't have to protect myself. A crossbowman, as soon as he begins to reload, he is just a target. He has to stand out there, and he has to lean over. He cannot see where he's engaging. Up he goes, and the moment he comes up is the instant that arrow hits him right in the chest. Because I'm looking for him. So the only thing that he can do is he must disengage, get behind some other fighters who may or may not stay put, okay, and hopefully get himself reloaded, get back into the battlefield, re-engage, and fire. All right? That doesn't work out. Me, I can load it on the run. So you can't hit me while I'm moving around out there. It is very, very difficult. All right? So practice, become a target archer, and practice with these. All right? By the time you get up to about ranger level, you will make an interesting discovery. It seems like this thing is a piece of crap. Non-aerodynamic and all the rest of that kind of stuff. The only thing that's important about an arrow is it has to shoot consistently. Okay? And these things do shoot consistently. It's why I can hit things all day long with this. All right? But you got to practice with it in full armor. Okay? It's very different to shoot these kinds of things when you are not in full armor. So practice. Be ready. Get out there and be effective. Okay, now, let's talk about the other side. All right? Another common misconception, and it has been persisted, this persists in Australia, okay? A lot with the knights, okay? There is no such thing as a light hit in combat archery. It does not exist, all right? You do not calibrate it the same way that you calibrate the strike of a sword. Now, you will see this all day long with two chucks are notorious at Penzek. Oh, it's light, it's light, it's light. Let me go grab my war bow and we'll see whether or not it's light, and I'll double your butt over, okay? You're not allowed to, though. You're only allowed to use a 30-pound bow with these kinds of things. There is no such thing as a light hit. So what is an effective hit? An effective hit is the same basic hit as a spear shot, okay? But it must make positive pressure, okay? What that means is, Sir Dunker, all right. A kill is anywhere on the grill, okay, into the throat, across onto, from the shoulders in, all the way down to the crotch. That's a kill. Positive pressure. That means if there's any sensation, bam, okay, any positive pressure, okay. Why is positive pressure important? All right, because
Sorry.
that's not a kill. Okay, positive pressure means that arrow comes back. All right, this is a glancing blow. It doesn't count.
Merely a flesh wound.
Okay? Just it would never penetrate chainmail. And remember, everybody, regardless of what they have on the field, is wearing chainmail. Okay? If that thing was to glance past on chainmail, it simply would not do any damage. Certainly not sufficient to actually incapacitate the fighter. All right? Now, as far as wounds go, anywhere on the arm, down to the wrist, if it hits the hand, no go. Okay?
Unless you're
Onto the
Rapier
legs, to the knee, legs the person. If it goes below that, no joy.
fighting. That's for heavy fighting.
What's that?
That's for heavy.
For heavy fighting. That's right. Rapier fighting, it's the same basic engagement rules as for rapier fighting. Okay?
Because if we get hit in our hand, it counts
That's
as a
right,
hand.
it counts.
So,
That's correct. There's slightly different engagement rules on with that. Okay? So
yeah,
positive
your
pressure.
toe is an
All
entire
right?
leg.
Sometimes it is extremely difficult to feel the positive pressure. Okay? All right, hold on. It is difficult. All right? There are ways to ensure that you have a higher probability of hits. Okay? First of all, let's just deal with the simple bottom line fact. There are dicks on the battlefield that will not take a blow.
What?
Okay? They do exist. All right? All right? You can hit these guys, bam, right there in the chest. He knows it. I had this happen with a knight when I was out there at Estrella, okay? And I hit this guy twice, okay? Square in the chest. You could see from his body that he actually felt it and responded and continued to fight. All right?
When they go like this,
Okay?
they know they've been hit.
When they lurch, okay, when they look around, you know they've been hit. Okay, but they continue to fight. All right? Number one, everybody on my side is watching that night and they know it. Okay? Everybody on his side is watching that night. And they know it too. All right? Chances are he may be spoken to. All right? harshly for doing something like that, okay? No matter what, first shot, I'll go ahead and give it to him. Maybe he didn't feel it. Second shot, fine. You want to be a dick? Be a dick. I'm going someplace else, okay? I will go someplace else, all right? Just leave him alone. So that's what you do with that. Now, some things you've got to be careful about, all right, when you're shooting, all right? When you are engaging, if you shoot into a bunch of guys swinging swords or jabbing spears and stuff like that, you can just absolutely expect that they're not going to feel it. They just can't, all right? Any of you have been in the melee line, I've been in the melee line, you've been in the melee line, you are getting knocked around, jostled, whacked, you're feeling crap all over the place. Really? You really expect anybody to be able to sense that? No. Don't waste your ammo. Okay? Just don't waste your ammo. If once I get into that engagement, I step away, gentlemen, have a nice day. Go ahead. And as soon as things clean up, okay, here, let me give you one. All right? Obviously, it is the easiest.
30-minute warning.
What's that?
30-minute warning.
Thank you. The easiest thing to do is to hit him in the face. All right? But this can be deceptive. All right? You're out there, you're tired and stuff like that. What oftentimes happens, and this has happened to me, okay? And I'm a combat archer. I've been doing this for years. All right? This sucker will come in just like this. All right? And it doesn't look like it. It looks like this. It's because of the nature of your vision inside of there. You've got this weird tunnel vision going on inside of there. You can hit a person square right in the face and it looks like it hit here. Okay? Cut the poor guy some slack, it's tough. Me, I don't go for very many face hits because of that. All right? Because I don't want to embarrass him and I don't want to get angry either on my side. All right? I go.
Also, if he turns his head,
Right.
side of the helm,
It's a no joy. Because there's no arrow in the world that's going to actually go through the side of the helmet. Okay? Can't be done. All right? That's my target. Okay? It really is. It's the best way. All right? Okay? I mean, I just go center of mass right into the chest. All right? That way, if it hits, he feels it, he sees the arrow dropping away from him, he's good. All right? So what happens sometimes, here's some special cases on the battlefield. All right? This happens to me with every single battle that I've ever seen. And if you fall, now come back here. Oh, come here, Rod.
I can be. Okay.
Hold up your hands. Hold them off to the side, just like that. Okay? There's a reason why I'm doing this. All right? One of the courtesies
Didn't the
that you
Jewish
can
do
do,
this before?
and it will be greatly appreciated and will earn you beers, okay, is be courteous in your engagements. So, I will shoot and take one in,
Oh,
okay?
in the
All right?
pocket.
And that fighter will look up at me. No. Call it for him. No. If he backs off as though he's going off, yell at him. Fighter, no good. Glancing shot. Okay? Thank you. They will thank you across the battlefield for doing something like that. Another thing is, you strike a weapon. Okay? He's got his sword and it strikes the weapon. Okay? All right? Or oftentimes, because you're engaging a lot of spearmen. Spearmen are pretty commonly hit. You may hit that spear and he doesn't know. It hits the spear and glances in on his body. No go. It's worthless. All right? Call it. Weapon hit. No go. Look at your shots and call them for them. Never call a good shot. But always call a bad one. Every single time. If the fighter looks over and says, was it good? Yes. But never volunteer that's a good shot. Okay? And you can see it. I mean, basically what I will do, and people know this because they fought with me a lot, I will shoot. Okay, most of the time I won't even look. I'm going to let him call his shot. But if he looks at me, I will wave or I will salute. Okay? If it's no good, it's no good. Call it off. Okay? Always call a bad shot. But unless you're asked, never call a good shot. That's for the fighters. It's the same convention.
Once upon a time, when the only legal combat archery arrows were golf tubes
Oh man, did that suck.
Yeah.
with a tennis ball on the end, it was incredibly common for people not to take shots because they didn't have much impact. Because you can't make one go very fast with a 30-pound bow.
Right.
Our suggestion in Palantir was that we replace the golf balls with squeaky toys. So they could hear when they've taken a hit. Because they were hitting so light from any distance over about 10 feet. They were just, you really didn't notice it.
We tried chalk.
The other one
We got
was,
in trouble
well,
with
the
chalk.
other one was chalk on the tips, on the tennis ball part.
Yeah.
So when it hit you, there was a visible strike.
Right.
But with these, it's a lot easier to tell you if it struck.
It is. Now, for certain, in rapier combat, with this kind of a tip, you're going to feel it. You will feel it. This is not nearly as, it doesn't have nearly as strong a sensation
We're gonna go shoot each other.
in heavy combat. It's one of the reasons why we use the ball dart. Okay?
It's too moist.
And for certain, because I can tell you this right now from all my own personal experience, I have sections of my body that are not armored, okay? And I have a whole collection of circular bruises, okay, by the time I'm done fighting 5 or 6 days in war, okay? From all the shots that I take, okay? So those ball darts will hurt. They will get your attention.
Oh, they will wake you right up.
Yep. So,
Even in armor, they will. Actually, I watched a fighter from Palantir Golf Course go down.
oh yeah.
Those are the hard parts.
They were shooting over the stockade.
Uh-huh.
Golf Course caught him right here in the gorget, and he just went boom.
Oh yeah.
Just
Taking
Bang,
gorget
bang.
shots is really an experience, and I mean, it happens to me all the time. I've actually had my finger broken. Bart once broke a finger. Wasn't his fault. I remember I'm wearing demi-gauntlets, but he put a crossbow bolt right into my finger. And yeah, actually it's this finger right here because my bow was out like that, and he just smacked it and just broke the finger. You know, I kept fighting, of course, because I wanted to kill him.
because
All right.
revenge is a
So
thing.
those are the basic rules of engagements. No hat hunting, okay? Leave the commanders alone. Shoot and aim, all right? Be qualified to do what you're doing, all right? Don't call the other guys shots unless they're bad, all right? Now, it is my recommendation, personal recommendation. This is true both in rapier fighting and in heavy fighting. If you're going to hit the field as a combat archer, I strongly recommend you spend a little bit of time up close and personal on the melee line. Really, okay? Here's the thing. You will never win a fight with combat archery. Combat archery does not win battles. They will never win battles. The infantry wins battles, okay? What the archers do is they are what is called in military terms a combat multiplier. They will enhance the battlefield for your side, okay, and degrade your enemy's battle. That's what we do, all right? But the only way that you can be effective as a combat archer is if you know what the heck is going on out there. If you do not understand how SCA combat works and how a melee actually is functioning, how in the world do you know where to shoot? How do you know how to engage? How are you going to help your knights and your dukes to fight this battle and enhance the battlefield unless you know what the hell is going on? Okay? Now, it is absolutely not required that you get out there onto the melee field. It helps. If you don't, spend some time learning about SCA battle so that you can help out there. Last item, and this is a true combat multiplier when you're out there on the battlefield, okay? You are in an unusual position. You are back behind the melee line, observing the deep battle, okay? No one else can do that. The commander is paying attention to his unit. The people up in front, they're paying attention to what's, about that far away from them. You are the only one on the battlefield who is actually watching how the battle is going side to side and deep. Talk to your commander during the fight. Observe what's going on. Let him be aware. You are a scout. You are the eyes of that battlefield. Okay? Of course, that's useless unless you know what the hell's going on. So learn what the hell's going on. All right? But you can engage and observe and help enhance the battle while you're out there. And suddenly, you are actually useful.
Don't worry about it.
So there you go. Any other questions?
And a perfect opportunity to observe is regional war practice.
Yes. There you go.
2.5 weeks, where you can see the tactics that are used.
How we doing over there, gang?
2 weeks.
How many more we got?
28.
Last Saturday of the month.
Got a few? Okay. All right. We're going to finish up the workshop. I'm going to flap
It's the
my
last Saturday of
nose.
the month. Whatever
Thank
that is.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Regional war practice in 3 weeks. Antelope Island.
4 weeks?
Date.
3 weeks.
Date.
April 28th.
April 20th.
Whatever
At
Saturday
Antelope Island.
Yes.
Okay.